First of all, I welcome all the delegates in the first session, first technical session of today. In this technical session, we have 10 lectures from the prominent academicians and scientists. The first talk will be given by Professor Poonam Tandon. Presently, she is head physics department and also taking care the responsibility of Dean of Student Affairs in the Lucknow University, Lucknow. Fortunately, she happens to be my guide also, so I am fortunate to introduce her uh, as the speaker in this conference. If I start telling about her biodata, she completed her MSc and PhD from the Department of Physics, Lucknow. After that, she worked as research scientist at Benjamin Institute of Science, Israel. Then she has the postdoctoral. She was the postdoctoral fellow at the Martin Luther University, and this is as the Alexander von Humboldt Fellow. And in 1991, she joined the Lucknow University as the regular faculty. Until then, since then, she is continuing as the faculty at various positions. If I go towards her achievements, you can see in this slide that the number of achievements is enormous. Large number of achievements are there. I could not, when I tried from her CV, I tried to put all her achievements in one slide. It was impossible. So I was forced to delete number of her achievements. And in this, I will only introduce few of her achievements. You can just see in 2004, she was she has the fellowship, CNRS fellowship, MRSI. She was JSPS fellow of JSPS Japan. She was the regular associate, International Center Theoretical Physics, Italy. She has taken large number of the projects. She was having an award from the Nature Publishing of USA. She has award, UGC Research Award by the Government of India, UGC Mid-Career Award by Government of India, Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship for a number of years, Center of Excellence, Government of India, Uttar Pradesh. She has published more than 200 journal papers, 32 books or book chapters. Out of these, and all, more than 50 research students she has guided. Out of this, 9 postdoctoral fellow also worked under her supervision. Recently, she was also conferred with the Shikshak Sri Samman by the Department of Higher Education, Uttar Pradesh. May I request Professor Tandon to deliver her talk? Please, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Anuj, for very generous, very nice introduction. And first of all, very good morning to all of you. And first of all, I would like to extend my thanks to Professor Birpal Singh for inviting me and giving a chance to share my recent research activities with you and the organizers of the conference, Dr. Professor Malik, Professor Gautam, Professor Sharma. Thank you all for giving me a chance to join you in this conference. And in this period of lockdown, such activities are very, very important, and they are very, very encouraging for students also during the lockdown period, because they are in the uncertain stage of future, when the exam will be held, when the classes will be held, when will we have next session, and the whole world is stand still. So, so first of all, I would like to wish you, today is the International Day of Light. First of all, I would like to wish you a very happy International Day of Light. We celebrate 60 years of laser innovation today. And the very big successful operation of the laser was demonstrated on 16th of May 1960 by Theodore Manman. Today, on the same day, and we have always felt fascination for light in its every form. And even for the simple phenomena like sunrise, sunset is amazing for us. And the light coming from the sun is the reason for our development of our life on the earth. It is responsible for the life on the earth. And although life is all around us, we have been celebrating the International Day of Light on May 16, an appreciation of light and its role in the field of science, medicine, culture, art, education, communication, energy, sustainable development, and in the very existence of our life itself. And since beginning of my research career, I have been enjoying working with the light. I have been working in the spectroscopy, and just like Einstein said once, for the rest of my life, I will reflect on what light is. Okay. And there are some quotes by different people. There are first one is by Bragg, and the other two are by the Gautam Buddha. And I suggest all the students, like the last one, the make yourself a light and illuminate it for the whole life. So now with these words, I will start with my presentation. I think I should make it full screen now. Okay. So the topic is related to the crystal. We are using crystal engineering to study the different solid forms of drugs. And today I will talk about it. And before starting my lecture, briefly, I will talk about what we are doing in the Lucknow University in our research group briefly about different type of activities. Our group is working in a variety of areas. One of the areas is we are studying the possible mechanism of the formation of prebiotic molecules. Okay. Another area is we are working on the development of potential materials for effective gas sensing materials. And another area in which we are working, 1 minute, I cannot see the full screen. Yeah. Another area we are working on the search for new mesophases in liquid crystal, studying the phase transition and search for the new mesophases of liquid crystals. Yeah. Then another area in which we are working is the structure activity relation in natural products. And we are also doing some work on the non-linear optical materials. And this is some of the achievement of our group. We have completed 5 international projects, more than 11 national projects, and our work appeared on the cover page of Spectroscopy Ekta. Okay. Then our work on the pharmaceutical solids, it is rated by the Royal Society of Chemistry in the top 10% most cited paper. Okay. On the paracetamol, which I will talk today about we will discuss about the paracetamol. Okay. And you all know that you take drugs as injections, you take drugs in the liquid form, you take drugs as a tablet. And the solid forms are the most convenient form for us in comparison to taking injections or taking the liquid form. The advantage of solid form is it is more convenient to administer the solid form, and accuracy of dosage, and increased drug stability, and easy in the mass production. That is why the solid form is the most preferable form. And different solid forms show different physical, chemical, and mechanical properties. Okay. And these properties are determined by the molecular structure of these drugs. Okay. And the solid forms also have the effect on the physicochemical properties like mechanical properties, solubility, and bioavailability, all these things. So when we talk about different crystalline forms, solid forms, okay, it can be a polymorphic form, it can be a co-crystal, it can be a salt, can be a, like there are different solid forms. And today I will focus more on polymorphism, polymorphic forms and co-crystals. Okay, so you all know the different arrangement of carbon. These are two different polymorphic forms of this, and one is graphite, one is diamond. Arrangement of carbon is different, and it gives rise to entirely different properties. So this is very, I will tell you, very interesting story. The Napoleon Bonaparte in 1810, he was a French leader, and uh, in and his army was there on the gate of Moscow in the chilling winter of the Moscow. And suddenly what happened? The shiny button of the dress of the army became gray, and they started falling from the dress. And the army thought it is the wrath of God कि कुछ भगवान ने कुछ कर दिया तभी हमारे बटन एकदम से गिरे जा रहे हैं. और their moral became so low that they have pathetic defeat at the gate of Moscow, the Napoleon army. Basically, it was related with the polymorphism. The tin which is, it has two polymorphic forms. And at 13.6 degree centigrade, it underwent the transition from one form to other. One is shiny and other is like gray and fragile. And you all know we all like eating chocolates. You know, some chocolates taste better than others. So what is the reason why some chocolates, like there are some standard company, if you take the chocolate of Nestle, some Swiss chocolates, and they taste better than other chocolates, what is the reason? So basically the cocoa butter, which is the main solid fat in chocolate, can crystallize into 6 polymorphic forms. And the form that predominates in the best tasting chocolate is the form 5. So that makes also the chocolate look glossy and melt in our mouth. And if the chocolate has form 5, the taste will be better. So before eating chocolate, you confirm that it has form 5. If has other forms, it will not taste so good. Okay. So the polymorphism, when we come to polymorphism, the identifying polymorph is relatively easy. There are many techniques, crystallographic techniques, spectroscopic techniques. We can identify the polymorphic forms. But understanding the polymorphism is very tough. So how one polymorph undergoes into other polymorphic forms and all these things. And that our group is trying to understand that these things with different tools, different physical tools. And we are using thermal methods, diffraction method, microscopic method, and spectroscopy. And today I will talk mostly about the use of spectroscopic approach to study the different crystal forms of drugs. As I told you, experimentally, we are using FTIR, FT-Raman, NMR, different tools for structural characterization. And theoretically, we are using some computational methods and softwares like Gaussian, Camcraft, Mercury, and these are the software which we are using for our work. So basically, we are combining experiment with theory to study the molecular structure of this pharmaceutical compound and also the activity, relation with the activity. So basically, it is a new, like it is a challenging new area, crystal engineering, and its application to the solid pharmaceutical forms of the drug. Basically, in the crystal engineering, we play with the structure of the molecule. We try to modify the molecular structure and get the desired properties. So crystal engineering is the understanding of intermolecular interactions in the context of crystal packing and the utilization of such interactions in the design of new solid forms with desired physical and chemical properties. So basically, we try to modulate physicochemical properties, solubility, bioavailability, stability and mechanical property. देखिए जब कोई टैबलेट आप बनाते हैं तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि टैबलेट की मैकेनिकल प्रॉपर्टी फर्जाइल नहीं होनी चाहिए, मैकेनिकल प्रॉपर्टीज अच्छी होनी चाहिए और वो सॉल्युबल होनी चाहिए, है ना. सॉल्युबिलिटी होगी तभी तो वो बायो अवेलेबिलिटी होगी. एंड स्टेबिलिटी इज ऑल्सो अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर. तो इनको हम कैसे इम्प्रूव करें. ओके. So I am just giving one example of paracetamol. सबसे ज़्यादा known drug है paracetamol, उसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे. And we will talk about the formation of co-crystal and salt. आप जब कोई आपने देखा होगा, आप कोई टैबलेट खरीदते हैं तो पत्ते पे लिखा होता है paracetamol hydrochloride. Generally the drug molecules, pharmaceutical molecules are given as a salt. कोई salt होता है. And different companies use different salt of the same compound. That is the patenting issue also. There is the issue of patenting also. They use different salts. Now, in order to gain insight on the mechanical property and crystal structure correlations in various solid forms of paracetamol, we have done some studies in collaboration with Swedish group. The paracetamol, it exists into two forms. Form 1 is monoclinic, form 2 is orthorhombic. And the form 1, which is commercial form, is thermodynamically stable, but it has poor tableting property. And the form 2, which is non-commercial form, it has thermodynamically, it is metastable, but it has better marketing property. Okay, so many research groups are trying to have the properties of form 1 and the tableting property of form 2. In the crystallography, there is a concept of slip planes. I will discuss. See, the first form has zigzag structure and the second form, orthorhombic form, has the layered structure. So how we can combine these two and get the some properties of form 1 and some properties of form 2. With this aim, some co-crystal were synthesized. So if we discuss, this is the vibrational spectra, Raman spectra of both the forms of paracetamol. And you see the structure, especially in the mid IR region and higher frequency region, the spectra is almost similar. And the changes are reflected in the low frequency region, which is below 550. Okay. Yeah, I mentioned about slip planes. Slip planes are the planes in crystallocrystal correspond to crystallographic planes in the crystal exhibiting weakest interactions between the adjacent planes. For example, the paracetamol form 2, these planes are which are the between layers 0 to 2 plane. It is the slip plane. Okay. And the molecules having slip plane, they have better tableting properties. Okay. So what we have done, we have studied some co-crystals of paracetamol with oxalic acid, with bipyridine, and with hydrochloride. And these co-crystals were prepared by the Swedish group. And we have done other spectroscopic studies, structural studies, and all these things, and density functional theory calculation on these co-crystals. And we found that the first co-crystal, paracetamol oxalic acid, it has a layered structure. It has slip planes. While paracetamol bipyridine co-crystal, it has a zigzag structure. While the third, paracetamol hydrochloride, it again has a slip plane and like layered structure. And I already told you that we would like to have the molecular structure similar to form 1, but the layered structure similar to form 2. So we are preferring our preference is to have the molecules with slip planes. And the characterization of these co-crystals was done using X-ray diffraction and differential scanning calorimetry to confirm whether these co-crystals are formed. And the changes in the diffraction pattern and the DSC data reflect that yes, these co-crystals are formed. And also we studied the mechanical properties of all these co-crystals, and it is found that the oxalic acid has the best mechanical property. The next one is paracetamol hydrochloride, and it is almost mechanical properties are equivalent to paracetamol oxalic acid. Next one is the bipyridine, and the last one is the co-crystal of paracetamol with bipyridine. Okay, so in this case, we came out with two options: paracetamol hydrochloride and paracetamol oxalic acid co-crystals. Okay, maybe I think it is very, you cannot see it much. Okay, and the reason why these two forms have better mechanical properties, reason is because these two forms have slip planes. Okay, and this paracetamol work this resulted in 3 publications in different journals. Okay. And I told you this is one of the widely cited, it is in the top 10% of Royal Society of Chemistry journal. And because the paracetamol is one of the most popular drugs, every house has paracetamol. Okay. And the second drug about which I will talk, this problem is totally different from what we study in paracetamol. It is nitrofurantoin L-proline co-crystal. Nitrofurantoin, what we call NTF, it is an antibacterial drug. But the problem with the drug is it has poor solubility, resulting in poor bioavailability. Okay. See, if your drug development is a very, very tedious process, it takes maybe development of one drug takes 15 years and millions of rupees. The chemists look for large number of compounds, and maybe they find some bioactivity, they do some biological study, they see the side effect, and maybe in 15 years they come out with one drug. Now the many people are trying to modify the structure of already existing drug and improve their properties. That is what crystal engineering is. Okay. And we studied the co-crystal of nitrofurantoin with L-proline. L-proline is an amino acid which has a butyric form. And problem was we crystallized this co-crystal, but we were not able to get good size of crystal to get the crystal data. Okay, so we were not having information about the molecular structure, hydrogen bonding pattern, or packing, all these things. So what we did, we combined a spectroscopic approach with density functional theory to find out, to get some information, to get some insight into molecular structure of nitrofurantoin L-proline. And we were quite successful. We demonstrated if we cannot get structure from crystallography, it is possible to get some insight from spectroscopy and density functional theory, combination of these two. These are the molecular electrostatic potential surface of the nitrofurantoin, upper one, and the lower one is that of L-proline. So from the molecular electropotential surface, we have some hints about the hydrogen bonding sites. Like these are the hydrogen bonding sites. And we also have the hints about the hydrogen bonding sites of L-proline. Okay, so using these hints, we prepare several models that how these two structures can combine together and form co-crystal. Okay, so we also have some hints from spectroscopy. This is the vibrational spectra, infrared spectra of the lower one is the upper one is L-proline, and this is the nitrofurantoin, and this is the vibrational spectra of co-crystal of nitrofurantoin L-proline. Okay, and the vibrational spectra very nicely reflect the hydrogen bonding. You know, when a bond is hydrogen bonded, then generally it results in lowering in of the frequency and the change in the bond length. All these things are observed, and we from these hints, what we have from the vibrational spectra, we have some information that which bond may be involved in the hydrogen bonding. So using this information and the information which we have from the molecular electrostatic potential, we prepared several models. We prepared 8 models, and I will not discuss about like each bond and like very specifically. I will just discuss broadly what we did. Okay, and we prepared.
Try to finish them in 5 minutes.
Okay, it is just yeah. We prepared 8 models. We minimized their energy, and we using these models we calculated the vibrational spectra of the co-crystal. Okay, we have the observed spectra, we have the calculated spectra, and the model which gave the best agreement with the vibrational spectra, we said this and has the lowest energy. We predicted this is the best. This model is maybe the best model for the structure of this co-crystal. Again, we did some conformational analysis. I will not go in much detail. And we found our model is giving, this is the observed spectra of co-crystal, and this is spectra that we calculated from 2 conformers of the, which we obtained from our models, and the agreement was really, really very good. Raman spectra, again the calculated one and the observed one, and the Raman spectra also supporting that our models are quite good. And these are the homolomo gap of the co-crystal and the nitrofurantoin. And we found after the formation of co-crystal, the homolomo gap reduces. So the activity of co-crystal is better than the original drug. And this work is published again in RSC Advances, and the reference is there. If anyone is interested, you can just Google and find out the details about this work. And we then studied a series of co-crystals of nitrofurantoin. Time is less. I will not discuss much about this. Okay. Again, you can find out a series of papers on the nitrofurantoin co-crystals. Okay. And finally, I will say there are many, many tools, and you can apply many, many tools in physics. And I will show this slide, and this slide is self-explanatory. You just see. I think it is animation is not working with this slide. Maybe we can leave it. It was animation. I think it is not working. Yeah. Okay. So those who study the different polymorphic form, they say every compound has different crystalline forms, and that in general, the number of forms known for a given compound is proportional to the number of time and money spent in the research on it. It is a famous saying by Macron. And there is a large information gap in solid state properties of several active pharmaceutical ingredients, and new crystalline forms of several drugs have been successfully produced. Vibrational spectroscopy is demonstrated as a powerful tool, not only to fingerprint the new solid form, but also to study their properties. And there is a plenty of opportunities for crystal engineering in this area. And always the pharmaceutical industries are also very interested in this work. And this work is supported by several projects. I already mentioned the beginning. Okay. This is my research group. And this is on the back, we have the picture of Tagore Library. And then we have a small lake, water body. And beautiful, now we have some fountains there. Okay. So thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for the nice lecture. You have presented a quite complicated topic in a very simple manner by giving very simple example, day-to-day examples, and then shown some technical aspects, taking again the examples which are known to everyone. So I once again thank you for this nice lecture. Thank you.
Thank you.